Welcome to the last part on the what you call CAP 403, the Traffic Act, where we are dealing with now the offenses that you as a pedestrian, you as a person walking on the streets, you can find yourself that you are arraigned before a traffic court. Two, look at the provisions that deal with the drivers. Some of the drivers, the public service vehicle, or you yourself as a driver of a personal car. Lastly, we also look at the laws relating to border borders. As you reach home, you are going to use a border and you will be required to understand this law. Let us look at Rule 59A. If you are driving and you are using your phone, you are talking over your phone while you're driving, if you are arrested, do you know the fine? Kenya shillings, 2,000 shillings. But also look at the dangers you involve yourself when driving while talking over the phone. You lose concentration, you lose a focus, and you are distracted from what is happening on the road. And that is why the law provides that if you are arrested while receiving a phone call or making a phone call or writing a text on WhatsApp or doing an email over the phone, you will be given a fine of 2,000 shillings. Two, for the passengers, failure to wear a safety belt. Remember, it is a requirement under the Traffic Act, Cap 302, Chapter 302, 303, that you must wear a safety belt every other time that you are on the road as a passenger in a public service vehicle, as a passenger in a PSV vehicle, in a private car, as a passenger, as a driver in your own car. The requirement for wearing a safety belt. It is not about the safety of the car. It is about your safety. If a vehicle rams into another one, it is only the safety belt that will help you. Remember, there are airbags in vehicles, but that does not require you not to wear a safety belt. If you are found having failed to wear a safety belt, the law will get you and you'll be fined Kenya shillings, 500 shillings. Why do you want to lose 500 shillings over this Christmas when you should be buying a goat with that? The third, passengers. Now the law talks about where do you board your matatu? Where are you going to board your public service vehicle? The law provides that the county governments and any authority designates a particular place to board and to be dropped. So, stopping vehicles on the highway. Matatus have a designated place to carry passengers. You go to a designated place. So, if you are found boarding, you, the passenger, remember, you who is boarding or alighting outside the designated stops, you'll be fined 1,000 shillings. Not the matatu driver, not the makanga, you the passenger. If you board a vehicle or you alight a vehicle, just because gari imefika kwa nyumba hapa unashukia hapo, you'll be fined 1,000 shillings. Then we have, there are traffic signs. There's traffic signs all over. As you leave Nairobi, as you leave Mombasa, as you leave anywhere, to Kibwezi, to anywhere. On the road, there are traffic signs. For example, the traffic signs that says speed limit is 40 kilometers per hour. Another traffic sign will say maximum speed 80 kilometers per hour. Another sign will say near the hospital, don't hoot, and you start hooting. Failure to comply with the to obey traffic signs, you'll be fined Kenya shillings, 3,000 shillings. Then On the road, you will get very many police officers. Women police officers, some very tiny. Men police officers, very young, very handsome, very beautiful police officers on the road. They tell you stop. You fail to stop. They tell you divert the car. You fail to obey traffic directions issued by a police officer. Remember, every traffic officer wears a white cap for you to identify that this is a traffic officer. That cap has a crown of the Republic of Kenya. If you disobey directives and directions of a police officer, Section 52(1), you will be fined Kenya shillings, 3,000 shillings. Have you been told to stop and you have run away? Make sure, if you are caught, and you must be caught, if you disobey the directions of a police officer, is 3,000 shillings. What about the speed? I know people will be leaving Nairobi on 25th morning. They want to be at home in Bungoma by 1 for the Christmas lunch. People will be leaving very late and they'll be overspeeding on the road. Do you know the speed limit that you are supposed to follow? Mark this. If your speed limit exceeds 6 to 10 kilometers per hour, if it exceeds 6 to 10 kilometers per hour, for example, the speed limit is 80, then you do 86 to 90. That is a speed limit of extra 10. What does the law says? You'll be fined 500 shillings. If it exceeds 11 to 15 kilometers, you'll be fined 3,000 shillings. If it exceeds more than that, then you are in problems. So the question is, why is the law limiting the speed limit? One, for your safety. If the vehicle is moving at 180, 200, I know many of the Gen Zs and young people have bought Audis, they have bought Mazdas, they have bought Subarus, they have bought moving vehicles, BMWs, and the accelerator is down. It is fun. It excites when you're doing 200 kilometers per hour. What about your life? What about the life of a pedestrian who is passing? What about the life of that other road users? So be very careful that keep your life safe. We want you to be alive next year so that you continue following court helicopter. We don't want you dead. We don't want you in the hospital. We don't want you in orthopedic wards when your bones have been broken. Then we have the border borders. The border borders, very many of them have border borders. If you ride a border without the helmet, if you board a border without the helmet, you will be fined 1,000 shillings. So ensure every time you are on a border, you are wearing a helmet. Number two, the border is allowed to carry only one person. It's called a pillion. If you board 2 of you on a border, if you board 3 of you on a border, if you board 4 of you on a border, that is an offense. You'll be punished, and you'll be the one who is carried will pay a fine of 1,000 shillings. What about the driving license? Very many of you drive without a driving license. Either the driver doesn't have a driving license, a personal car driver doesn't carry a personal driving license, or a public service vehicle driver. Failure to produce a driving license, contrary to Section 36, you'll be fined 1,000 shillings. What about renewal? When did you renew your driving license? many of us forget to renew driving license because you rarely, especially drivers in towns, they rarely drive out. You are a government officer. You are assigned a government vehicle. You never drive. But when this is Christmas time, you will be driving yourself. You, the wife, every other time, your husband is the one who has been driving. But this time, you have got to drive. If you fail to renew a driving license, you will be fined, contrary to section 30, you'll be fined 1,000 shillings. If you fail, then there is failure to have a valid driving license. A valid driving license is when you do not have, for example, your driving license is drive to class B or class A or class C. Every driving license, there is a stamp that says which vehicle you are allowed to drive. Border drivers are not allowed to drive personal cars. Personal car drivers cannot drive a public service vehicle. A public service vehicle driver cannot drive a trailer or a tractor. But if you are found driving and you have no valid stamp for that, you will be fined Kenya shillings, 3,000 shillings. Learners, very many learners, many people bought the cars. The banks gave you money. You are now going home for the blessings that you have a new car. This is the first time you're driving your car. The law says if you are a learner, you will be having a professional driving license and you need some time on the road. You must put letter L behind the car that you are driving to show that you are a learner, or you are being, it's a driving school. You are being taken around and you are being showed. You are learning to drive. Failure to put letter L behind your car, you'll be fined 1,000 shillings. What about obstructing? Obstruction. Obstruction is a very, very serious offense. Very many of the helicopter viewers will be driving to home at night because that is the time you have been given permission to leave on 23rd. So you drive at night. Driving at night, you'll get sometimes trailers that have blocked the road. They have obstructed the road. Either your car has stalled, it has no fuel because your car doesn't have a fuel gauge. So you drive, mafuta inaisha kwa mlima. You leave the car there, you rush to go and get mafuta by Kibuyu. By the time you come, people have rammed into your car and 2 are dead. That is called obstruction. 2, you are a matatu person, you see a passenger, you stop on the road to pick that driver. That is called obstruction. 4, you met your friend who you have never seen for 10 years on the road. You stop in the middle of the road to say hello and to give pleasantries. That is obstruction. Any form of obstruction of a highway, by whichever way, the law says you will be arrested and be charged. Mark, the fine of obstruction is 10,000 shillings. The fine of obstruction is 10,000 shillings. What about driving through a pavement or a pedestrian way? What about driving on a pedestrian way, a pavement, parking on a pavement? You'll be fined 5,000 shillings. Those are the light types of punishments provided under the Traffic Act. In the next episode, we shall be looking at driving causing death. Cyrus Jirongo, my client, died in a road accident. In honor of my client, Cyrus Jirongo, we'll be dealing with driving on the highway and when a driver has caused death. Wakili Dan Romari, always keeping you updated even over festivity season. Thank you and see you next time. Court Helicopter News.